All right, so the Golden State Warriors get the 107-88 victory here in game two. They tie the series up one apiece, and man, this game got out of hand in the third quarter. The third quarter is where this Warriors team kills all their opponents, and they've gotten back to that. In the past, they used to torment teams. They're doing it again. They did this in game one. However, it took an all-time great performance by the Boston Celtics in that fourth quarter to overcome that 14-point lead and ultimately win the game by 12. That was an amazing game one by them. But here in game two, they did not have that same situation. Once again, first half was close between the two teams. Boston came out firing on all cylinders. They were 5 for 5 to start the game in that first quarter. Then they slowly started to die down. Golden State's defense started to be more aggressive, and it caused Boston to put up a lot of tough contested shots that weren't falling. One thing about Boston is that they hit a lot of tough shots. But when those shots aren't falling, they're not getting a lot of easy looks, which is a problem. And that was a problem they had to deal with ultimately in the third quarter, which put an end to their chances of winning this game. But yeah, in the first half, it was very close. Boston had the momentum early on. Golden State caught up, and by the end of the first quarter, Golden State ends up leading 31-30. Then you get into the second quarter. It's a back and forth affair between the two teams. And you get down to the wire in that first half where both teams are going at it. Jason Tatum has a great first half. He puts up 21 points. He was balling out. Steph Curry had 15 points in that first half. He was doing his thing. And yeah, you had your guys in Tatum and Brown that showed up early on in that game, and they were making plays, and man, they were really keeping Boston into it. They were keeping Boston in that game that first half because Golden State stole the momentum and just kept coming at them and kept firing on all cylinders. So we end up going into halftime with it being a 2-point lead for the Golden State Warriors. Golden State Warriors go up 56-54 heading into halftime. We come back, third quarter action, and the Golden State Warriors go on a 35-14 run in that third quarter. They outscore them. The last 5 minutes of that third quarter ultimately end the game for them because in the last 5 minutes, that Warriors team went on a 19-2 run. The 2 points Boston scored were both from Jason Tatum at the free throw line. They made 4 shots in the third quarter. 4. They were 4 of 17 from the field in that third quarter, and that ultimately cost them because Steph got it cooking in the third quarter. Jordan Poole had back-to-back threes on the 2-for-1 situation to end the third quarter, and both of those were a deep three. One was a deep three, the other was a half-court three to make the lead blow up to 23. And at that point, the game was pretty much over. Steph didn't have his most efficient game, but he still did what he needed to do. He led all scorers in this game with 29 points. Wasn't the most efficient, but he did what he needed to do. He got some help, though, here and there from guys like Jordan Poole, who again had that back-to-back three in that 2-for-1 situation to pretty much seal the fate of the Boston Celtics in game two here. Klay Thompson once again had a poor shooting night. He started getting it going a little in the third quarter, but overall he's been shooting terrible. So he has not shown up in game one. He has not shown up in game two. He has been poor. Wiggins didn't have a great shooting night as well. He made some baskets here and there, but he was also poor shooting. Looney was nice because they were setting him up with some good looks, and he was just making plays. Draymond Green, luckily, was not shooting the ball like that. Draymond Green actually had a relatively good game, You don't need Draymond to be taking 12-plus shots. He took 3 shots here, made 2. He had 9 points. He gave you 7 assists and 5 rebounds. That's a good game for Draymond, okay? You don't need him to come out here and put up these amazing stats. Well, you would love to see Draymond put up amazing stats, but you don't need him to shoot the ball that much, okay? Scoring is not what Draymond does. You don't need him for that. But yeah, Golden State as a whole, the team shot 45% from the field and 41% from the three-point line. They weren't efficient from the free throw line, but they really didn't need to because they were killing them from the three-point line throughout this game. It is what it is. As for Boston, I really don't know what to say. I mean, you guys had a chance there, and you went silent. You did it again. Like I've repeated, I'm a Miami Heat fan, okay? I'm a Heat fan. I saw everything that this Celtics team had to offer in that 7-game series against my team. My biggest issue with the Celtics is that they have periods where they will go 2, 3, sometimes 4 minutes without scoring. And the biggest reason why is because they don't get a lot of easy looks. Go look at the shots they get. A lot of the shots they get are tough contested, especially when it comes to Tatum and Brown. A lot of times Tatum he's hitting sidestep threes. Jaylen Brown's pulling up for deep contested threes. Jason Tatum will try to post up and hit tough fadeaway contested shots. Like they don't have a lot of easy shots on the Celtics offense. The great thing about the Celtics is they are able to make and hit a lot of difficult baskets. But when you're not hitting those, what are you left with? You're left with 2, 3, 4 minute stretches where they can't score. And tonight, that showed up again. And I'm telling you, you were able to get away with that in the Heat series. That's not going to work against Golden State. If you go 2 minutes in the third quarter without scoring, the Warriors will kill you. And that's exactly what happened. Once the Warriors took a double-digit lead in that third quarter, the game was done. When they went up by 10, it was over. It was over because they were just going down. They were going through stretches where they just couldn't score for a minute here or 2 minutes here. And to end the third quarter, the last 5 minutes, they couldn't score. They weren't getting their points from the free throw line. That is not good. You let Golden State go on a 19-2 run. You can't win like that. You can't go scoreless for 4.5 minutes. You can't go that much time without putting up a basket against this Warriors team, especially in the third quarter, which is where they make their adjustments from what they saw in the first half, and they come out their most prepared. Boston has to be better than what they displayed today. Jason Tatum had a plus minus of minus 36. That is the worst plus minus he's had in his entire career, regular and postseason. Jaylen Brown stopped shooting at some point. 5 of 17 shooting, 17 points. He stopped shooting at some point. Al Horford obviously wasn't the Al Horford of game one. Game one, he was beautiful in that fourth quarter. He made 6 threes, gave you 26 points. You took that game one. Game two, he took 4 shots, made 1, and had 2 points tonight. Marcus Smart, again, did not have a good game. He did not have a good game. 2 points for him, 1 of 6 shooting. He had 5 assists, but he also had 5 turnovers. He had a bad game. You're not getting much from these guys. The good news is Derek White continues to be a good piece off the bench, but even he had a bad night. 4 of 13 shooting for him. This team's biggest issue tonight was turnovers. They turned the ball over 18 times. You can't turn the ball over that many times and expect to win against Golden State. They were just looking pitiful at times. It was bad. It was really bad. So Boston definitely needs to rebound. They legitimately need a rebound from this, and they got to improve and be better and execute better in Game 3. Here's the thing, though. This is a tough loss for Boston, and they'll have to deal with it. It's a tough pill to swallow. But at the end of the day, you did what you needed to do. You knew that you did not have home court advantage coming into the finals. You had to win 1 game in Golden State to steal a home court advantage. You did that in Game 1. Game 2 didn't go as planned. Golden State retaliated. They responded to that loss that they dealt with in Game 1. It is what it is. At the end of the day, Boston got the 1 victory they needed to get on the road to help them win this series. Now they get to go home for Game 3 and 4 to defend the home court. All Boston has to do is defend home court, and they will win the NBA championship. If they don't lose at home, they will win this series and they will win the championship. But if they allow Golden State to go into Boston, to go into TD Garden and reclaim home court advantage, they'll be in trouble. They will really be in trouble. At the same time, Golden State needs to go into TD Garden and make sure they win one of those 2 games. Because if Boston wins both those games, Boston's going up 3-1 and the series is most likely over. Now, Golden State with this core, at least their main core, have pulled off a 3-1 comeback. We remember 2016 against the OKC Thunder. So it's possible for them to pull off a comeback, but you don't want to be in a situation like that. And hopefully they won't be in a situation like that. So Game 3 is crucial for both teams. Boston knows they have to defend home court, so they're going to be looking to make sure they win that game. Golden State knows they have to steal one of these 2 games on the road, and they would love to do it in Game 3. We'll see what happens at the end of the day, but this was a great victory here. A dominant win by the Golden State Warriors. A tough loss for the Boston Celtics. They'll have to respond in Game 3. We'll see what happens. Game 3 on Wednesday. It should be fun. With that being said, that is all I've got, and I'm out of here, man. Peace.